Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So today we'll just be kind of covering two. We'll have a chance to share, for all of you to share your feedback. And we'll have a few guiding questions and we'll share feedback through chat and out loud if you're comfortable with that. And then we'll just kind of go through next steps and get you guys out there. So after this pilot, we are still on track with the MAST, with our goal. And we had the same 33 participating districts, 62 schools, over 175 teachers administering, over 4,000 students, and then over 5,000 test sets were completed. Crystal, is there anything you wanted to add to this slide?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to welcome our folks who are joining us. As Samantha said, my name is Crystal Smith. I'm the new director of MAST for the Office of Public Instruction. So greetings and nice to see some familiar faces and get to know those who are helping us in this pilot. As Sam said, we are well on our way to this first pilot year of success. And we want to give the credit to our folks out in the field who are willing to jump on board and try something new in hopes of a changed assessment plan for the students in the state of Montana. As we are halfway through, which is wonderful, I just want to really put in a plug for these new two upcoming testing windows. We know that currently SBAC kind of falls right in the middle of both of them. So as we look to continue this pilot and get the 1,200 student participant number at a minimum, I just really want to encourage each of you, whether you're an administrator or a classroom teacher, to please hang with us. Please continue to be flexible and supportive of this pilot so we can get that minimum of 1,200 student participant numbers for both 5th and 7th grade and in math and ELA, so we can move forward in hopes of one day eliminating SBAC, and we are on path to do so sooner rather than later. So thank you for your efforts, and just a hoorah for moving forward, that we'll continue to have such great results.
So before we start with the feedback session, I kind of wanted to give a preview of to what's coming this next testing window. So these are just the math standards that are going to be tested next window. And then at the end of the slideshow, I will point to where you can find these on our website, just so you can be prepared to test your students. These are the ELA standards. Last time we did this feedback session, we kind of just said there'll be the moderately complex text, but this time I wanted to break it down a little bit more specifically. So if you want to look at this, it's in that link that I shared in the chat. And then again, I'll share it at the end of the slideshow where it is on the website. So now we're going to get into feedback. So you can either type your answers in the chat, or if you'd like to unmute and answer out loud, that's totally welcome. So just rate your experience in administering this last testlet. So is it easy, difficult, neutral, extremely easy, extremely difficult? And if you want to extrapolate on that, you can as well. Okay, I see a couple easies in the chat. That's great. You can continue to write in the chat. I'm just going to move to the next question. Did you notice a change in the length of time that it took your students to complete this last testlet compared to the first testlet? So I see one longer, mostly the same. Did you find the ease of administering the testlets change from window 1 to window 2? And if it did change, how did it change? So the teachers and students were more comfortable with the format. And I'll pause here to see if anyone wants to unmute and kind of share out. Nicole, I'm kind of interested to hear about the length of time that it took. Do you have any insight as to why it might have taken longer during the second window compared to the first window?
I think that my kids probably took more time on it in the second one. I printed off the score reports, the parent score reports, which I think are formatted really, really well, by the way. They're very easy for parents to understand them. And so we sent those home with, was it their second quarter report cards? And so I feel that Power enjoys above normal parent support. And so something I'm grateful for every day. And so I think that parents probably sat down with their kids and went over those score reports with them. And so the next time that the students were presented with that opportunity to take those tests, they took a little bit more time and spent a little more care on them.
Wow. Well, that's great. That's a great reason for them to take longer on the test. That's great to hear. This kind of has to do with what you just talked about, Nicole, but in general, did you find that student score report data supported your predictions about student learning between the testing windows? So did you kind of find that the score reports confirmed that the content that you were teaching was absorbed, or if you didn't teach the content, was that reflected in the score report? I guess we're just kind of asking if the score reports melded with what you're doing in your teaching. And then this is kind of an open-ended question, but what further information would you like to see on the score report? Yes, the whole group breakdown has definitely been requested a lot, but unfortunately that just can't be provided during a pilot. but that will definitely be available once we're out of the pilot program. And then this is a placeholder for any additional support you would like during this pilot.
Hey, Crystal, this would be a question for you. Is there any thoughts to, because these two tests hover around the SBAC, or any openness to just extending the windows a little bit longer, maybe 3 weeks or a month? Just because every district does it differently, and actually, like in my district, every grade level does it differently. So something that could those windows be extended to match up so we don't get test burnout on kids?
Yeah, absolutely, Kurt. Thanks for that question. So Sam will share with us here in a little bit. We have already been approved to extend the third testing window, I believe by an extra week. So we will provide those dates for you, and we are in discussion to look at testing window 4 as well. I spoke with the deputy superintendent today. We just need to make sure, as far as the other assessments I need to meet with the assessment department at the OPI and ensure that those test dates will be allowable for us to extend that window for test 4. So you'll see here test 3 extension, and then we're still working on test 4. Kurt, in addition to that, Sam will provide some detailed information for you about potential scheduling between the MAST assessment and then as well as the SBAC, as some guidance if your district has not already been looking at that and what it could potentially look like to, again, alleviate that student burnout when it comes to testing. So great question, and hopefully we'll have some valuable information to share with you to help support that.
Awesome, thank you.
I might be jumping way too far ahead, but our district, we're starting to live in 2 years now. And we were looking at, I know that we're rolling out a few grades at a time the next couple of years. And I haven't been able to find that information of what grades are coming next, just for planning purposes. And so I didn't know if you guys could point me in that direction.
Sure, Jennifer. I would love to be the bearer of the good news that with consultation between New Meridian and state superintendent, we're looking to roll out grades 3 through 8 next year. So taking this pilot, we've had tremendous success and looking to assess 3 through 8. And I was going to talk about that at the end, but I'll jump into it now. We're also looking to request that waiver for those districts that are willing to participate next year, to get a waiver from the SBAC testing at the end of the year summative assessment. So things are progressing quickly and rapidly, and we've had tremendous success. So that's hopefully answers your question, and hopefully that's an incentive to continue to be a part of the MAST program.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, Crystal.
Absolutely. Good question.
Oops, jumping ahead. So I'd like to take a minute just to keep the floor open. If anyone has any more comments, questions, you can answer this question if they'd like. What did you like about the MAST pilot? Or what are you starting to like about it after this second window? Just really anything. I just wanted to open the floor.
I guess just to throw it out there, our district, we really like the idea of it, but the Teslas haven't been like 10-15 minutes that, like they said, the first time was about 45 minutes on average per kid. Now they've been closer to about 20. So it will really be nice next year when we get to pick what standards we actually want to test. So it will match up more to what we're doing right then there on the spot. And then I think the time will come down. And I think next year will just give us a real better picture of everything. So like, again, we like the idea of it, but the 45 minutes or 25 minutes per testlet per day, that has been just a little bit much on our teachers who are really wanting to get their content driven in. And now they're doing SBAC interim tests, they're doing SBAC real tests, mass testing. So to them, they feel a little overloaded when you add in STAR, maps, everything in there. They feel like they're not teaching right now. So once again, but they understand why we're doing it. And overall, they like the idea of it. So actually getting out of the SBAC next year would be a bonus for them because no more interim testing and summative testing.
Yeah, Kurt, thanks for sharing that with us. I know Sam and I are busy trying to find some standard alignment throughout the state of Montana that we can help provide New Meridian with kind of an overall state guide as far as what standards are looking like as far as, you know, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and then how we can better align those testlets to standards that are taught in progression to, again, shorten that testing timeframe that it takes for students to complete their testlets. So that is a work in progress for sure, and we're hoping to get that time chunked down quite a bit. And again, make it relevant for the day-to-day, you know, functioning and teaching within a classroom, that will have that immediacy of feedback for teachers to then instruct their teaching accordingly based on the assessment feedback that they're receiving.
So Crystal, with you saying that, you know, looking at what standards are in different quarters, I thought at one point we had talked about that teachers would be able to choose which testlets they gave. Would that still be an option, or are you saying moving forward that we're going to have specific testlets at specific times in the year?
Jennifer, I'll go ahead and try to answer that, and then maybe Courtney will want to jump in as well from the New Meridian side. So in our attempts to align those standards, the testlets would then be built upon those, right? So chunking standards according to what information and data we're receiving from our state level. And then as teachers are providing those assessments or those teaching to those standards, then they would pick the testlet that would best support the standards that their teaching is the model in which we're looking to move forward to. And Courtney can definitely elaborate on that if willing.
Sure. So I think, you know, we're trying to look at this from a perspective of what we're going to have ready in the fall versus what the eventual full plan is going to be. And so what we're looking at, as Crystal mentioned, is how we can align and get that information from, you know, from the local scope and sequence at the district level and see how we can best align. And what that's going to look like is we're creating kind of a manual type of configurator tool. And so, you know, say district A, so, you know, their scope and sequence and curricula align to, you know, to one thing, and then New Meridian, with the help of our platform partner and OPI, can then select or propose what is going to be the best, you know, the best solution for testlets moving forward, still within a fixed administration window for this next year. So we'll still have several administration windows. There will be more flexibility and alignment to the local curriculum based on all this data gathering that we're doing right now. But then as we progress further in, you know, beyond the pilot and into a more realized, you know, a statewide implementation, and Crystal can speak to what those timelines are more specifically, maybe at a later time, but we are looking to have some sort of tool that would allow for that personalized configuration process. So I just wanted to be clear that, like I said, exactly, you know, what you're mentioning, you know, that local alignment is something we are trying to get to. It's going to take us a little while to get there. So whereas this year it was a completely fixed form, you know, we did our best to be able to sequence based on information that was given. And you're definitely seeing some of those pain points, right? With testing time being increased because, you know, maybe some of the kiddos hadn't seen the content, et cetera. We're addressing that by offering this additional level of flexibility next year, but it still might be a manual configuration piece that's really managed and overseen by OPI's guidance, and of course, New Meridian as well, manually configuring that to an eventual tool that we're hoping to be able to launch, in which, again, the field can actually get their hands on it. And then maybe it would be like an algorithm that would shoot out a proposed schedule or a proposed sequence of all of the testlets based on an input of curriculum from the local level. Does that help a little bit, Crystal, to provide additional context?
Yes, it does. Jennifer, does that give some support to your question?
Yeah, I think during the pilot, we knew that they were going to be, very specific ones given throughout the year. I thought that I think you're saying exactly what you had said at the beginning, that eventually we'll get to where teachers can select based on their scope and sequence or what's being taught at the local level. So.
Yeah, and until we get there, we're we're trying our best to generalize based on the data that we're collecting statewide to do better than we did this year, but probably not be where we want to be here in 3 years out.
And I also wanted to say and echo something that Crystal had mentioned earlier, as well as Sam, in how fortunate and how privileged we feel, New Meridian feels, to be partnering with the state of Montana. And, this really is y'all leading this. And this is a MAST program that we're, looking to build from the ground up and, and leveraging that with y'all as our partner and some other states as our partners as well. And so I don't think that we can thank y'all enough for this conversation, this feedback, and for having these candid discussions. And that said, hearing this and talking about that flexibility piece is something that's very top of mind for us. And so, as Crystal said, we might not be there, we're definitely not there this year. We might not be fully there next year, but we have some pieces in place and some ideas. And again, once we get to that full rollout piece, like I said, with your expert guidance and direction, I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity and just be a game changer in the assessment field. So again, and that's all thanks to y'all and y'all's participation. So I just wanted to plug that in there, that our absolute gratitude and privilege in working with y'all.
And speaking of expert guidance from you all, we wanted to let you all know about these PD opportunities that we have coming up related to the MAST pilot. And Courtney, jump in at any moment. But there's a passage review cadre, and that's that first one, March 28th and 29th. We're looking to put together for teachers to review proposed passages. And then there is the item review workshop, which will be similar. And that will be held this summer. Go ahead, Courtney.
Absolutely. And to provide a little more context there, when we're developing and selecting passages, for example, I'll speak to the passage review first. It's absolutely important to us to make sure we have that cultural relevant context, that we have folks from Montana to be able to be the eyes and ears out there and let us know, is this something that your students would like to see? Is this relevant to you? Are there bias and sensitivity issues that maybe that we're not seeing because we're further removed from the student population? And so this really provides an opportunity for the field and for teachers from Montana to be able to contribute and review and say, yes, this is the type of thing we want to see on our assessments, and really be involved at an early stage. And it's going to be a similar thing for our item review workshop. Again, we are, looking to have that same level of engagement and involvement from state educators when we're developing our items for math and for ELA. Once we've already selected the passages moving forward, there will be additional opportunities too. So this is not just this year, this is cyclical. And so we're looking to build out with the OPI's partnership what that's going to look like year to year. So as Sam mentioned, there's definitely this opportunity in March. And they are full days. They are going to be, I'll let Crystal answer this, but they are, paid opportunities as well. So just to plug in there for any of those who are on spring break and would love to come join us, the more the merrier. And like I said, we're really happy to have you. And like I said, as we continue to move through into the next years, there will be more opportunities, potentially even as early as July of this year, to start development and think about what this is going to look like for subsequent years. So we can really get ahead of those schedules as well and get on a more traditional path to make sure that we have a robust bank of items and passages to be able to support this MAST pilot as well as our our through-year assessment model.
And I'll continue to be the bearer of good news. So as Courtney said, we're looking at these being paid options, opportunities for teachers. So right now we're looking at $200 a day for an 8-hour day. So if you have teachers who might be interested, as well as OPI renewal credits. So 2 incentives besides for just being the leader of change and assessment in the state of Montana, and being able to hone in on the expertise that we have around our state and within our classrooms for teachers in the ELA area and expertise. So if you have teachers who are interested, or if you can and willing to share this information, please do so, as we are currently recruiting those teachers and those groups to be able to contribute to this work.
Perfect. So we'll just wrap up here with the upcoming testing windows. I'm sure, as you already know, but March 6th through 17th is going to be window 3. That is now extended to March 24th, kind of to accommodate either spring break or SBAC testing. And then window 4 is April 17th through 28th, and that window could very well be extended either a week earlier or a week after. But we haven't gotten there yet, so. And I wanted to show you all where our resources are on the website. So if you just go to opi.mt.gov, go to the leadership tab, and then click Montana Alternative Student Testing Pilot Program. There's a special toolkit just for those of you that are participating in this pilot. And I went ahead and put a score report interpretation guide in there, plus testing pathways. This is can be really helpful for you to look at. It just has 3 sample calendars for how you might organize your testing, both your federally mandated testing and the MAST pilot. Just examples to show how you might do it. And that is it. We have come to the end.
Before we have folks jumping off, I just again want to reiterate that we are beginning the recruitment for the 23-24 school year. What that testing cycle will look like, it will be 4 testlets with a 5th performance assessment testlet as well. So a total of 5. Like I'd mentioned earlier from Kurt's question, that we are looking and will request a waiver for the SBAC test for those schools that are going to continue to stay with our pilot. And as soon as we get the good news, we'll be excited to share it with all of our partners here. But that is in the works, and we are looking for grades 3 through 8 to participate in both math and ELA. So once your district has determined that they want to continue with this, please reach out to Sam, and we cannot wait to get you on our list for the next school year.
Thanks, Crystal. And thank you all for coming. Have a good afternoon.